Two Pennsylvania teenagers were charged in federal courts on Monday for allegedly attempting to provide material support to ISIS.
This alleged ISIS-inspired bombing attempt took place during a protest led by far-right activist Jake Lang outside of the residence of New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani.
The suspects, as I discussed in my radar yesterday, are 18-year-old Amir Balat of Langhorne and 19-year-old Ibrahim Kayumi of Newtown. According to the federal complaint, Kayumi blurted out as he was being arrested on Saturday that ISIS was the reason for his conduct. And Balat, after police said he asked for a piece of paper, allegedly wrote, quote, "All praise is due to Allah, Lord of all worlds. I pledge my allegiance to the Islamic State." The complaint further alleges that Balat and Kayumi wanted to carry out an attack bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing.
Now, authorities identified the devices as viable improvised explosive devices containing TATP, a highly volatile explosive, along with screws and bolts intended for fragmentation. They were homemade devices which did not explode.
James Barnacle, who runs the FBI's New York office, said in a news conference Balat and Kayumi sought to incite fear and mass suffering through this alleged attempted terror attack in the backyard of an elected city's official.
School officials confirmed that Balat is currently a 12th grade student in the Nishimini School District, and Kayumi graduated in 2024 from Council Rock High School North.
U.S. Attorney General Bam Pandi took to X, writing, "We will not allow ISIS's poisonous anti-American ideology to threaten this nation." Meanwhile, Tennessee GOP Representative Andy Ogles sparked lots of reaction with his statement, writing on X, quote, "Muslims don't belong in American society. Pluralism is a lie."
Founder and CEO of the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, responded to Ogles' comment, writing, "You don't belong in Congress. You hate America. In this country, we believe in equality and justice. Bigotry and hatred are for people like you and your donors. We know you're trying to drive up hatred toward Muslims so we can have more war for Israel."
Well, let's circle back to that in a minute. This is the attack on the protest. So this was anti-Muslim protesters who were outside Gracie Mansion, where Zohran Mamdani lives. And then I was very critical yesterday of the coverage of this because a lot of the initial news coverage made it sound like the would-be bombers were part of the anti-Muslim protesters. They were counter-protesters, and indeed
trying to harm.
They're in league with terrorists, not in an official capacity, but they're doing this on behalf of ISIS. ISIS does have the power to inspire attacks in the homeland. One of the other only terrorist groups that has managed to accomplish this is people actually try to hurt Americans inside America because of sympathy with ISIS. They'll have their day in court, but they're guilty. They should be, locked away for all time. And this is very, very disturbing stuff. You don't have to like the anti-Muslim protesters or agree with them, but they have the First Amendment right to express anti-Islamic ideas and organize around that, or any other nonviolent, peacefully ideas. The violent, non-peaceful people here were the Islamic extremist terrorist people. So that was not at all reported accurately by the media yesterday. Zohran Mamdani, when he put out a statement about it, didn't mention them initially by name. He's corrected that. Really gave one a false impression, but I'm so angry about it.
So I think that we have to condemn these type of attacks no matter what. Obviously, they came there to do harm. The first thing that I thought is when I heard about what they were trying to accomplish and luckily have failed to accomplish, right. I was really happy that they hadn't accomplished that, because you think back to
the Boston Marathon.
Right. If anything like that would happen.
Horrifying things that happened in
exactly.
our lifetimes.
And everyone is already tense and filled probably with more fear than normal because we are at war once again. And so people naturally have these things. But to circle back before we have to run to Ogles' statements, I mean, Islamophobia doesn't have a place in our society. Our society was built on migration from different people that study different cultures. 20% of slaves that were brought here against their will were Muslim. And so I think that we need to remember that we don't say these things and promote these type of ideals from people that are sitting in Congress, because it's disgusting and bigoted. And so we want to make sure that our leaders are held to the fire by both parties when they say things like this, in the same way that we would hold anybody who tries to commit a crime against an American citizen to the fire across party lines. Ethics experts are sounding the alarm over alleged conflicts of interest in the Trump administration. I'm going to talk about that, a lot about that, in my lens.